This week, I made a high ticket sale online. And also this week, I hit 4,000 followers on Facebook. Now, that might not seem unusual in the online space. And probably the reality is it's not. But for me, it still feels slightly surreal considering where I started. Because when I came online in October of 2022, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. No Facebook profile, no marketing background, no online business experience whatsoever. I didn't even know affiliate marketing existed, what it was, and to find that there's a whole industry online was quite incredible. And then I thought an avatar was the blue character from the film, when in reality it's my ideal buyer. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Leslie, and I spend my time earning online, predominantly on Facebook. And I wanted to make this video because I think a lot of people believe affiliate marketing and online business is only for young people. You know the kind of people that I'm talking about, the ones that grew up with technology, who understand social media, and people who already know what they're doing, which definitely wasn't me. And I used to believe exactly the same thing. Because the truth is, when I started, I was completely out of my depth. I'd sit watching training videos, hearing people talk about domains, funnels, autoresponders, pixels, landing pages. And honestly, it really felt like everyone else had received some sort of handbook that I'd missed completely. My grown up children once told me I had the technical ability of a 12-year-old. And at the time, I don't think it was meant as a compliment. Although looking back now, when I think about 12-year-olds and technology, actually, they're very impressive when it comes to dealing with it. So perhaps I wasn't doing quite as badly as I thought. Still, there were many moments in those early months that I questioned whether I was actually cut out to do this, whether I could make a success of it, whether I could even hang in there long enough to see if I made any success. And I think that's the part people don't talk about enough, which really is very sad because one of the problems, or not even the problems, but one of the things that happen that when you're older and you're learning something completely new, it can really knock your confidence. You're used to being capable in normal life. You know how to solve problems. You've spent years working hard. You're raising families, managing responsibilities. Then suddenly you come online and you feel like you know absolutely nothing. And that's uncomfortable. I also used to look at some of the younger women online and think how incredibly confident they were or are. And sometimes I still do. And I sometimes think that these young women are almost intimidating at times. I just don't remember people being like that when I was younger. My own daughter wasn't like that growing up. I call it a little bit of brass neck, and I don't mean that unkindly or in a negative sense. In many ways, I admire it. It's just recognizing a level of confidence and boldness that I don't remember seeing years ago. People now seem far more comfortable putting themselves out there, sharing opinions, showing up online, speaking confidently on camera. Whereas my generation was probably a bit more reserved. Actually, not probably. We were more reserved. For me to come online now and talk like this on YouTube, I've been doing live trainings in my Facebook group for 18 months, close on 2 years. But my goodness, if I think back to my very first one, in fact, my very first six, no one even showed up. And I would be so nervous. I couldn't get through it quick enough. And I was so delighted no one showed up. But then, as the more I did it and my confidence grew, I became disappointed that nobody showed up. So it's like everything in life, you've got to practice it. And I think some of my apprehensions about coming online and speaking on camera was what people thought. And it seems so crazy now. I mean, really, everybody's so busy with their own lives. What would they possibly have to think about me coming online and speaking on camera? But that's the problem when you first come online later in life. The fear of judgment can feel huge because you worry about looking silly. You worry about saying the wrong thing, and you're comparing yourself constantly. And this is dangerous because you're usually comparing yourself to your beginning to someone else's 6 months in or 12 months in, possibly even years in. Now, I can remember when I first came onto Instagram, there was a lady there. She was having amazing success. I mean, she'd hit $10,000 months, and I couldn't figure it out. I thought she'd just started at about the same time as me. I was doing reels the same as she was. My captions read pretty good, and I just couldn't understand why everything I was doing wasn't clicking. I was getting views on my reels, but I wasn't getting any sales. Well, actually, that's not true. I did get one $7 sale, but that was it, and it didn't come to anything. And then I found out a little bit later that this lady had actually been online for a couple of years, possibly more. And more importantly, she shelled out something like £25,000, $25,000 to get one-to-one coaching with her mentor. Now that's a lot of money, and it's not the kind of money that I could afford to shell out. But this is a thing about social media. It has a tendency to make everybody else look polished and successful. And you see those screenshots and big income claims, huge follower accounts. And meanwhile, you're sitting there trying to work out how to copy a link properly. So I had to learn very quickly to stay in my own lane, because comparison drains motivation faster than anything else. The good thing is, as my confidence slowly grew online, I started realizing something else too. For years, I'd been a people pleaser. I hated confrontation, I avoided difficult conversations, and I rarely said no when I was asked to do something. In fact, I can't remember ever saying no. At the time, I think I was keeping the peace. I was keeping the peace, I know that. But looking back, it often meant allowing people to push boundaries or take advantage of my good nature. And when you behave like that long enough, people become comfortable with that version of you. Coming online has actually changed that side of me quite a lot. It didn't happen overnight, the first 6 months. I mean, it's gradually been going on for the last 3 years. But the more I've learned, the more confident I've become with my own judgment, because my success that I'm having is not accountable to anybody else. I'm not depending on anyone else. It's all down to me. And that gives you a level of confidence that means you can put stronger boundaries in place. And I'm much better now at saying, oh, no, that doesn't work for me. Or just simply outright no. And interestingly enough, not everybody likes that, because when people are used to you staying small, confidence can make them feel uncomfortable, especially if they have benefited from you lacking it before. I found actually, they then become bigger bullies. But I realize there's a huge difference between being kind and allowing yourself to be walked over. And strangely enough, this online journey hasn't just taught me about affiliate marketing and the fact that I was a people pleaser. It's taught me a lot about other things about myself. And one of the biggest surprises for me was realizing that life experience actually matters here online. Communication matters, patience matters, understanding people matters, and listening in the right way matters. If you've raised children, if you've worked with people, managed a household, supported family members, or dealt with difficult situations, then you already have the skills that transfer online. You just don't always recognize them as valuable. In fact, probably a lot of it is that you don't even recognize them as skills. You've just been doing it so long and you just take it for granted that you can do this stuff with your eyes closed. And that's really something that I wish more older people understood, because many people later in life think it's too late for them to start something new. And there was a time I did think that after my husband passed away, coming online. I mean, it didn't appear for about 8, 9 months. And I didn't know, couldn't even fathom starting anything new. But I don't believe that anymore now, because I've done it. I've proved that even at my age, you can still do this and make a success of it. And in fact, today, like I said, I made a high ticket sale. And if you told me if you told me 2 years ago that I'd be sitting here talking about online business, creating content, making sales through the internet, I honestly wouldn't have believed you. Not in a million years. And the best part for me isn't even just the money. It's the flexibility, it's the freedom to build work around my life instead of constantly squeezing life around work. And I still enjoy quiet mornings. I have days out, time with the family, my Wednesday outings with my girlfriend's 83-year-old dad while his cleaner takes over the house for a few hours. All these things are still happening, and I get the job done. And it's having that balance that matters more to me now than chasing some flashy lifestyle online. I do think many people approaching retirement or midlife are looking for exactly that. Not necessarily millions, not hundreds of thousands, just more breathing space, more flexibility, and more of those options I was talking about. And affiliate marketing has given me that. So if you're curious about the program I use, I've left the link down in the description for you to take a look at in your own time. One thing I really like is that they now actually pay people while they're learning, which is pretty awesome, because that certainly wasn't available when I started. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, which means other people will get to see it, and hit the subscribe button so you can follow along with my journey online. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.